This cast today that we are loading into is a 2 versus 2 custom map, not ladder, custom maps. These guys have chosen to fight each other, and what we basically got is something I haven't actually seen before called Groom Bridge. You got this plug of land down the middle, you got some ocean either side, plenty of mass extractors around the place, and plenty of reclaim to be had. Now, just on the subject of the reclaim, let me do my sorting up here just for a second. On the subject of the reclaim, you can see there's around 8.5 12,000 mass or so to be had here, and you think, oh, that's a lot of reclaim. And well, it is a lot of reclaim, but you see as we zoom in, it's all trees. It's all trees, a little couple of rocks here and there and whatnot, but it's all trees. All this reclaim. So if you ever wonder how good are trees, they can be that good. 12,000 mass in this section alone. Bonkers, right? Absolute bonkers. Now these guys are high ranked. We've got some pro play going on. Let's have an introduction to the players. We're going to call this team 1 up here at the top and be team 2 down the other way. So first off, for team number 1, in the red color, we have Natron. Natron's here is Aeon. There's no Hydro near, well, there's the Hydro over there. He's decided to build a couple of pigeons there anyway, just to be of assistance to that build, because there's so much reclaim around to grab. Got his first factory up. Anyway, his teammate Tanae over here in the pink is Chisado. Chisado is UEF working on his Hydro. He's gone elected to go straight for that, and I think he should be okay without the store. These guys usually know what they're doing. Yep, sub 100 energy. Oh, look at that. He used that to almost perfection. Anyways, he's getting some extra build power on some more pigeons because he's going to need them, and straight into another lane factory. He's going for a bit of spam there. Alright, let's have a look at the other players in team number 2 over this direction. In the blue colour, another Aeon player. We have the Wreck. He's having to go at some pigeons and into an air factory. So this seems to be a fairly standard build. We have one lane factory, 4 mass extractors, Hydro, followed by a few pigeons, and then into a second land factory, followed by another couple of pigeons, and then into air factory. I believe that would be the order of the build. Yes. So factory, or 2 more pigeons, and then the air factory. So 5 pigeons in total. Or you could just go straight to the air factory like his teammate, this Insidious Noob over here, also Aeon, but in the purple color. He's gone 4 pigeons into air factory after the Hydro. So very similar builds, just he wants to get that air control a little bit earlier to get something in there to see how things are going. Up this direction, see into Navy kind of early for Natron. Wants to get himself into the water to help take things in command there, and this is his air factory going up here. See, once again, just for the adjacency, not too many pigeons. He's got 6 in total before he started building that, and we check just back over here, and there's actually 5 pigeons out for Chisado, so I imagine he'll get some more. In fact, he's got a second Hydro down there he's working on. That will help him out a bit and keep his here up and running. Right, first scouts going out, but yeah, it's just like mass extractors and reclaim just dotted all around the place on this map. It's sort of like no particular giant clumps you can go for. There's some bigger bits, not really. Oh yeah, a couple of bigger bits of ice over there. But all in all, the big zoom out shows there's 1,300 to be had on the side island. But importantly, there's a whole lot more down here, and it's all trees. So many trees and just tiny rocks like that, but it is all reclaim, and these guys will be having engineers doing all of that all day, every day from the factory. So here we go, first look, and you see these here. These are attack moves from the factory, and what these actually do is they let your engineers reclaim so much further away. These guys can probably clear all the way up to about here with that kind of move order. It just increases range. So in order to get that going, if you have your factory selected, you want to hold down, I think that's Alt Shift. I do it so often I can't even think about the key command anymore. Oof, what the hell's that? What is it? That's new. A bit of F8, yep. Okay, yeah. You hold down Alt Shift and you click, and it does this attack move like that. The engineer will move to that spot there and start reclaiming in a massive radius around them. Almost as visual range, so up to like that. And you can actually even move this. So you could grab that command if you wanted, move it there, and the engineer will then start reclaiming again with a massive radius from that spot as well. So it's just a very effective range mass scoop, and that's why you see people building factories near the front line. When they want to get some extra reclaim from there, they can do this and get more reclaim from a safer distance, particularly like if they have this reclaim point's a bit under the shields. The engineers can move to the edge of the shield and reclaim all the enemy units that have just died in front. So you see there's the shift or move order there. They've picked off everything in range. They're going to move up and they're going to start all over again and clear another section. Just like that. You see how far that one was? I pulled it from over here. Its first reclaim was from over that direction. Very far indeed, and that's much further than their actual build radius. Because if you have a look, you tell it to reclaim something, it's going to have to move within that range initially to actually get the reclaim going on. Anyhow, so that's reclaim from the factory and why it is so incredibly useful. Alright, let's have a look at the rest map, what's going on. We've been a wee bit distracted about the reclaim and talking about it just because there's so goddamn much on this map. But we have had a drop up here from the wreck and he's grabbing all of this up here. He's got reclaim sitting on the hydro, which will get scooped up first before the build begins. Might as well. I mean, it's kind of hard to assail this by land. You could maybe get some T1 RT on the side there, but you have to go T2 at least with some mobile missile launchers to actually affect that. We do have some harassment going on up here. There's a transport. Oh, Natron. We had a transport full of, what was that, 4? Maybe 6 engineers ready to go somewhere. Got caught by Insidious Noob, and he has just dumped that back into the ground, and just the time it took to build all of those is more irritating than anything else. Yes, of course, here's the mass. There we go, another transport ready to go though, picking up another 5 engineers. This one should be survived because the air has been cleaned up by Natron, so he'll be alright on that front. Looks like he's going for this particular section, maybe going to drop on the mid-island. The question is, oh, he'll catch that. He's got 5 engineers coming. They make it to this mid-section, and that's going to be this completely won over. No, he's dropping engines up here. A couple of engines there and a few in the middle. Do they know that the wreck is sitting there with the engineer? No, they do not. But still, it's 1 NG versus 3. That's going to go about the way you expect, and I predict that's going to be taken over by Natron if he's paying attention, which he is more likely to be because it's his drop that is coming in. There was a T1 bomber loitering around here trying to pick off some engineers. It's going to pick off an engineer actually. He's completely missed it, and there's going to be a nice little poke, going to delay extra reclaim out of there. Right, oh, only 1 engineer was dropped, and looking like the wreck is actually the one paying attention. He gets the reclaim order off first, so no, I thought Natron was going to drop all 3 of his engineers there. He did not, and ergo he does not contest that particular spot. The wreck keeps it. I am surprised. The other 2 were dropped down here to put some front and lanes. Why not? Down here in the Navy we see there's a little bit of fighting going on here. 2 versus 1, it's not going to go well for the 1. It's all Aeon, so it's all the same tech having to go to each other, no real margins there. And you can see there is a delayed second backup coming this way, but now it's going to be 3 versus 1. We're not even going to get to kill this one, actually. It's going to die long before this Beacon class frigate over here does. There we go, 3-1 goes even worse for the 1, and a bit of a turnaround there from Natron. Over this section you can see that Insidious has grabbed himself a landing spot, has got a factory down as well, and you can now start grabbing all of that tasty 1,000 or so reclaim across this entire beach section. So yeah, don't ignore the trees folks, they're full of reclaim. Up here we have a small air staging location, some cyclones just queuing themselves up to be defensive, one would guess. Got a single engineer going to scoop around as much as possible. Going to have some fun on that front. Let's have a check the Navy on the top. Got a handful of submarines, of course. They're going to just decimate these frigates. The frigates don't have any kind of defenses against these guys. They're just going to rock on in and slowly tickle them to death. It does take a while. Subs are much weaker in both health and damage output compared to frigates, but frigates just have no response to those guys. It's just the slow death, but there are some frigates over here that's going to help boost the damage onto this guy, and he's going to get about halfway there and then die horrible deaths. Back up in this direction I am hearing, yes I am, I'm hearing T2. There is a triad down for just up. He's got T2 on his commander. He's having a wonderful, looking like a PD creep kind of thing. Yep, just slapping down the one, and he's going to carry on walking. Back on the other side of the midsection we see it is Natron pushing up here. He's got a large number of Auroras rocking on down. They're going to run into, well, a single mass extractor, an engineer, and another bank of Auroras here from the Insidious. The question is who's going to come out on top. Whoever's got radar is the answer. And speaking of radar, we have one sitting up here from the wreck that's going to give some coverage. Those guys are going to be seen, and well, they need to be seen because they shoot further than they can see. Switching over there, you see these guys are ready to go, and a single transport comes over again, and that's a literal mass donation shot out of the skies. 1, 2, 3, 4, another 4 engineers, and the transport. That's a little bit of extra mass there. What is that? 280, around about just under 300 mass to be had there, 250ish. And slapping down a T1 PD, of course, is good, as well as the anti-air. If the next transport comes in, doesn't get shot down on time, the engines will land and they'll die. Right, this direction we can see a couple of Auroras were picked off, and that has made Natron fall back over on the left hand side. Good work in the Navy from Insidious. However, he's only got frigates. There's a sub under there just to start doing some extra damage, so these guys can't defend against that. So they're just going to fall back, as they probably do. Have a quick check on the builds, how we're looking. Well, we have T2 Air with a T3 upgrade on the way started for Insidious. He's grabbing a T2 Pigeon. Beside that, that's going to be not very long. Over here we have T2 Air already well underway for the wreck. Namina well underway. He's already got T2 Pigeon up, and he's popping out some swift ones. Just wants to get a little handle on the air. Is there anything he needs to be particularly worried about? Doesn't look like it. No bombs, no torpedo bombers, nothing of the sort. Checking out the tech back here for Team 1, we have a 60% upgraded T3 shift for Chisado. It's going on that really fast. In fact, 70% loss of assistance on that. He's going to be the first to T3 Air, one would imagine. And over here we have, just sticking with the T2, getting some torpedo bombers out, is Natron, although he's got T2 land as well. So he's sticking with the T2 shift for the moment. We're going to check back down this direction, and yeah, this T3 Air is well behind his opponent. It's going to be Chisado with some T3 Air, and see how that's going. T2 Tech up the front for Insidious. He's got his commander loitering around, just chilling. We may see that bump to T3 soon. Lots of spam coming out here though for the wreck. He has a T2 HQ as well, so putting the HQs up the front, while it lets you get your T2 units up there quicker, it's a little bit exposed, and if you get overrun, you'll lose your tech, and that is never a good thing. The Navy over here, we have a big number of submarines for Chisado. They are ready to hold off these guys. There's only 3 subs in the mix, so they'll actually do good work against that lot. They will win quite convincingly. T3 Air is done for Chisado. He's working on his first T3 Pigeon, just pops into the yellow, so it's 1/3 of the way. Quick check down here on the T3 Air situation, also completed, but not even started on his T3 Pigeon. On the bottom left section we see there's a big old air crawl going on there. Lots of torpedo bombers coming over from Natron, and they are just going to romp through these T1 units. They've got absolutely no defense against that. Of course, they are Aeon, so these frigates have no anti-air. They are very much role specific. Pretty much these frigates are great at killing other frigates, terrible at killing submarines because they can't, and terrible at killing air because they can't. They just don't even have the option to shoot. There are some inties loitering around here from Insidious. I'm surprised he's not using them to take out these torpedo bombers that are killing off his Navy. Having said that, the torpedo bombers fly a bit too close to the parked inties now, and they're just going to get picked out of the sky, one would hope. Well, one would hope, but it seems like to not be the case. Insidious is holding his inties back for some reason, because he's got a drop coming. He wants that drop to survive. It's full of engineers. Where he's going to drop that, I'm not sure. Is he actually going to go for the mass around here? It seems to be that way. Torpedo bomber swings too close to the interceptors again. This one may well get shot down if it gets focused, which is not going to be left alone. Curious decision. The Navy's moving on over there. Going to at least clean up the frigates, so it's going to keep this beachhead nice and clear. Swift wind's coming out though. So Natron's with the T2 Air's got Swiftwind, but in comes some extra Swifties from the wreck. They're going to join in the airfight over here. That could be most advantageous timing. They can do a furball, and the Swiftwinds will actually clean up those inties pretty darn good, and that will be pretty much it for the torpedo bombers as well. Swiftwinds are very handy on a one-to-one basis. Of course, as they should be, they should clean up those interceptors nice and handy. Quick check over the other side of the map as far as the Navy goes, and well, we've got a single engineer. I think it was trying to build a mass extractor, but the submarines say no. However, the subs can't hurt it because it's a hover. Torpedoes can't hit hover. But the engineer is perfectly safe from these subs unless they decide to pop up out of the water and use their deck guns to blap it. Back up in this direction, we can see I can hear it. There is a T2 point defense having a go at these units. It's having a great time playing fuck the ground though. I saw those shots. Missed horribly on flat ground, but these lasers are just going to bolt on through and pick off these engineers, because why not? The engineers are nice and suspect. T2 is on the front, got a single point defense there, a second one going up, so the Rick just wants to deny this channel, these guys, but up this direction, Chisado has his commander, so that's going to be something harder to stop than just that. T2 moving up to the front here for Natron. He's got some blazers, got some flak, got some shields. It's going to do a good number against all this T1 sitting around here from Insidious. I think Insidious is focusing a little bit more on the Navy, which he is winning at this stage. The frigates are ignoring the subs. In fact, they're ignoring everything, and they are just rocking straight up the channel. Looks like they want to run into the back and take care of... Well, I thought they were going to run into the back and take care of his production, but instead they turn back and... Nope, they turn around again. There we go. So this looks like Navy under control for Insidious. I wouldn't be surprised to see a T2 shift down here. He owns it. Looks like though he's sticking with a T1. Okay, this is cool. I think his focus is going to be on the T3 air, which is going on up. So he's having some fun with that. Here we go. There's the T2 eviscerating the T1. The Aurors are just paper thin, and a lot of their shots are impacting on the shield, doing absolutely nothing. And this is Natron just rushing on in with his T2 army. Some support is coming up here from Insidious, so that should actually be able to hold those off. Plenty of shields, and of course his own T2 in the mix should be the telling factor for this. He has way more units, way more shields, and this should be an indication for Natron to pull back, which he does, leaving behind a mass field, a bunch of units here. Get some engineers up, get some of that reclaim going. You got about 4,000 in units just there. We have T3 though on the field. This is Insidious. He's got the T3 HQ, and he's got Harbingers coming off from that. And the Navy has pushed all the way up here. They are going for the factories. If we can kill those off, then it's going to be production reduced for Natron, but he hasn't finished off to single one. Plenty of damage, but no actual confirmed destroy. Look at these. 3 factories down in the red. This one would take like 3 more shots and it would die. This one, a few more. Your frigates were already there. You might as well have finished them off. That's 1, 2, 3 factories, maybe 4 factories to reduce production on. Yeah, he's got some more back there, but you know, it's nothing. Would have easily finished those ones off. Anyway, check back on the ground force, and whilst we have got T2 rushing up this way from Insidious, it's running to a bunch of T2 PD over the other side. We see there's T3 on the ground. These are Titans and a Percival, and here's Chisado. He has a shielded gun com, which is going to soak up a lot of damage, allowing these units to push on through and start doing some extras. Looks like a manual targeting priority from these guys. The Rec decides, no, don't shoot the commander, kill the units. The commander doesn't have a lot of damage potential. It has a lot of damage soak potential. Will take a huge amount to take down, and that's going to be the end of all of those. There are some blazers there. There's a Sprite Striker Sniper bot, which needs to walk away. Unfortunately, it walks away a little bit too late and gets absolutely left, and this is a problem because that is the T3 HQ for the Rec. If he loses that, which I think is a very definite possibility, he's going to lose T3 tech on the ground, and that's going to leave Chisado ready to just simply waltz on up. Chisado is of course supported by these T3 units. He's got a handful of Percivals behind him. He's got some Titans to help clean up the T1 mess as well, and this is definitely not good on the HQ front. It's now starting to take hits. This is Chisado rocking on up. He's looking to do the damage. Down into the red it goes. The Harbinger rolls offline, already pretty hurt, thanks to some shots coming in. No. Goodbye the HQ. And that is going to be a bigger problem for the Rex. What is there to stop Chisado now? Well, he's going to have to rely on air. Some support coming up here from Insidious though. He's seen this and is redirecting what he can to help, but it is too late. The T3 HQ is gone. And the question is now, what has the Rec got to stop all of that? The answer is not a heck of a lot. He's got a T3 here. He can start working on some gunships. Well, there we go. Gunships are out. Spectres are a go. Let's see how this works out for him. But it is Chisado right now. He is 4 rank veterancy. His shield is just about gone, but he's so healthy underneath that. Still got 20,000 health basically. ready to go, very quick to throw up a factory thanks to the T2 upgrade on his com, and that can just start spitting out engineers to reclaim all of this. When I say all of that, I mean all of that. There's like, his commander was, that pink wasn't in the way, 4, 5, 6.5, almost 7,000 mass just here to be gobbled up. That's exactly what that factory is going to do. This is the prime time for Insidious Noob to push his units up. He wants to stop that factory from doing exactly this. I mean, if you're going to lose the battle, you really should try to not lose the mass field as well. Chisado is on the way out. His shield is, I think it's up. Or is it recharging? I think his shield is recharging. Yeah, he's taking damage to his health directly. Shield's on a recharge, so he's going to maybe just fall back a little bit from this swarm. The Percy's are going to help thin out the numbers. Commander's going to be behind the scene just to let them soak up the damage for now, and that's going to clear the air. Overhead there come the gunships though. It is an air fight over the head of Chisado. The air looks like a decent turn actually from Chisado's ASFs in behind the air belonging to Insidious, and that is an air win even as the gunships come on in. Going to do a lot of damage to Chisado, but the ASFs are going to swing back. They're going to be scooped out of the sky in half a heartbeat. The ASFs are very effective at killing gunships, of course. Because, well, they're just T2 gunships. They've got absolutely no defenses, but enough damage on Chisado, he may not think, okay, no, he is going to carry on going forwards. Because why not? Nothing's stopping him. Absolutely nothing stopping him. His ground forces are up here, Titans, Pillars, they're all just rushing through looking to kill off Eco. What is it that can be done? Well, the Wreck is up here. He's now got double gun and shield on his commander, so he's going to try and defend with the only ground unit he really has. Got some engineers chasing him to be of help, upgrading towards T3 because he needs T3 on the ground to try and stop all of this. Should be okay versus Titans. Will have overcharge, so he can overcharge these Titans. Should be able to kill them with one pop, even without their shields. They got no shields on. Boom, they go. So is that Chisado stalling on power? That is Chisado stalling on power, and he's stalling on power hard. So no shields for you because you have no power. There's something cute to think. Air fracas going on over here, and Chisado is just keeping an air lockdown at the moment, just pumping more and more ASFs into the air battle, trying to keep ahead of things, which he currently is. This is a struggle for Insidious to try and get back into. You see, it is gunships coming out here for the Wreck, so that's going to be on him. He's trying to just keep this ground force at bay, but the ASF swing through once again, going to cause more issues. This is a dangerous position for the Wreck. That's a handful of Percivals. His overcharge is going to have to be on point. Is he lacking radar? Is he? No, surely he's not lacking radar. Well, they are. They're just outside radar range, so he's dropped back into radar range so we can see them and actually get some overcharging going on. That was his problem with Percivals. He outranges Percivals if he has radar. But Chisado's com's coming up, and Chisado's com is very, very tanky indeed. Shield is back on. Uncertain. Definitely walking. Definitely shooting, and definitely throwing down some overcharges. It is time for the Wreck to run. In fact, it might be too late for the Wreck to run. He is taking Persify, and look at that health just simply disappearing. No veterancy, or 2 ranks of veterancy, but the Percivals are absolutely carving him open. That's going to be the Wreck popped out of this game on the 20-minute mark. Just not much he can do about that. A shielded veteran's gun comp in his face. A lot of damage coming off that with the Percivals in support, and now they're going to just head straight for this base over here. Question is, what can be done? What's happened to this? That's strange. That looked like a control K. Did Insidious need the mass? I don't understand what happened to the air factory. We took some damage that we didn't see, but either way, that is a dead air factory. And Chisado continues with his movement, continues moving on forward. He's going to try and clean out this entire base. Got some Titans down here. They're having to go at a energy storage, which just happens to be just under a shield. But that shield's going to drop in a second, then they'll pop, and that'll be all she wrote. Now pop in a beautiful way, kill off all these engineers as well, I would imagine, with the 3. There we go. Simple as that. Chisado walking into T1 PD range, doesn't matter. There's some Titans helping him out, and he will be fine. Whilst T1 PD over here, going to try and shoot these guys in, but not very well. Here we go, more Harbingers coming in from Insidious Noob around behind Chisado, who is well in enemy territory. Question is, does he have enough on the ground to support his habit? The answer is, I don't know. Percivals are doing right for themselves, but they won't take too much longer, and Chisado's shield is actually down. He's losing health directly. And he's also out of ground support, and these are harbingers. That's a lot coming in. Gets his final rank of veterancy, but he's back down into yellow almost immediately. The shield is not on, and he's actually going to go pop right here. Chisado out of shield. That shield could hold him a bit longer. Ground support was missing, and there is a scary amount of harbingers to encounter by your lonesome as a com. He rocks out 2 minutes after the wreck, but the eco damage is real. Look at the destruction over here. So much is just simply gone. There's a T3, couple of T3 PGs there. Was an air HQ, or at least a T3 air factory walking on that, and all these mass extractors 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And they were T3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 T3 max extractors, each one pushing out 27 mass each, so that is around 250. 250 mass income, which, well, that's not an inconsiderable amount. Well, checking out this way, what has been going on in the meantime though? Well, you can see that the wreck hadn't been totally idle. He has got some navy up here. It's T1 though. Not much you can do at T1. Not a lot in reach of those guys. If it was T2, it might be a different story. You could see the destroyers off the coast. They could start blinking away at the eco over this direction. These mass extractors will be having a bad time. There is some T2 actually. I do see it down here. There we go. One destroyer rocking up there. So there is a T2 HQ at least, and production has been resumed by Insidious after the death. Ground forces are looking very much in the hands of... Actually, that's kind of even... I'd say those Percival's and Titans are likely a match for this number of Harveys, especially if they come in bit by bit, but those are sniper bots. You really want to keep these things away from this lot. Run away. Simply put, run away before you lose these very glass cannon units. In fact, they're going to go down any second now. They're going to get spotted. Harbinger says hello, and Harbinger says bang bang bang. And yeah, just paper thin those things. But even a T2 unit has more health. But they're gone. Some gunships over here, they're just going to gradually tickle these numbers down. Why not? There's no air to speak of, although I haven't said that. Here comes some ASFs. This direction, lots of Navy, however, belonging to Natron is claimed this area. He's got his own T2 units. And actually, what is this? A couple of drops around the back. Indeed, there's some Harbingers tuned up in the back of Natron's base, thanks to a pair of drops. And some more Harbingers over there. And here they go. They are looking to destroy what they can here, because there's absolutely nothing on the ground to slow them down. This is a T3 PG that is going to have a terrible time of it. A few more shots and it's going to go pop, but it doesn't, thanks to the T2 PD over here, which is the absolute savior of the day for right now. They may still lose this T3 PG if they're not paying attention. Reclaim order on that perhaps? No, just 400 health apiece. This one is under repair, but 400 health left from that, and that was a very, very close drop. Took out that mass extractor, almost took it up here at T3 PGs. That would have been disastrous had they been lost. Navy, however, is right all up in the face over here, although having said that, there's a couple of destroyers over here. They have held the line against all these guys. And add in the torpedo bombers, that's going to make life very much easier. In the middle, we have a bit of a fracas going on here. Looks like it's going to be an advantage to the Natron though, because the shields are still up on his Harbingers. And the Harveys belonging to Insidious are going to go pop. Although it's going to be a kind of a close thing. Only 3 left out of that merry band of people. Alright. Let's have a check. There we go. Some Percivals running around this way. The Harbinger in support looking to go for nothing really. They're not going for this one. I thought maybe they kill off the HQs over here, but they haven't, and now we have Landspan planned up there. From Insidious back up in this direction, looks like the Navy tuned up and the Harbingers tuned up. These guys just decided to clean house. Didn't worry about any defensive duties. They are just going to wander straight through all of this, and clean house is exactly what they're going to do. Also, the destroyers have turned up off the coast. They're going to kill everything off. So this whole section is under threat. So this whole side of this island, this side's got raided and destroyed. There we go, some T2 gunships rolling off the production line. They probably want to swing back and help kill off these things. Percivals are not to be trifled with. There's a handful of T2 PD here, but it's not going to get a lot done. Really wants to get back and stop these guys from pushing on in. Left hand side, torpedo bombers are doing their job against this Navy, nothing doing over there. There's no air to speak of. No ASF, so it seems like the air game has just absolutely dropped off for both of these guys. We see Navy and land is doing a number over on this side. We see the Navy is keeping its way in here. Torpedo bombers doing their thing. Got some ASFs on the ground, but the Percivals, they have rocked on up and they have finished off the air grid, what the Harbinger drops could not do. The Percivals have completed, and you just have a look at the chain reaction from these PJs going pop. There's another one about to go. This one will go as well. That's going to be all the power. All the power belonging to Insidious. No, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 T3 PJs. That is him in a massive power lock. Absolute massive power lock. Not good for your health. Absolutely not good for your health. And wow. How much do those things give? I forget. It's got no T3 power over there. Got no T3 power here. No T3 power over here. Right, so he's lost 5 of those. So he lost 12,500 power. And, well, it's made a difference. Because he's power locked, he's mass locked. He's not getting his full mass income because he has no power. And he's basically done for. So he's got a big number of gunships. Maybe he could find Natron's commander, who's actually back here. And it has to be said, there's not a lot of air coverage, not a lot of anti-air on the ground either. He could look at bringing those up. Perhaps there's a handful of Harbingers still having fun over this way, but they've got no shields because he's got no power. Not good for their health, and they're just basically wandering into, well, they don't know what. Don't know what, but whatever it is, it's not going to be great for your health. Over this direction, back down here, still trying to build some more. There we go, T3 PG is going up on that side because Insidious Noob needs something. Going to try and rebuild some PGs here. Got the engineers. It does have T3 engines on the ground to do that, so that should hopefully get help on that front. Building T3 engineers out of these factories because that's basically all they can do. Support factories without HQ, of course. They can't build aircraft, but actually, doesn't he have an HQ over here? He does, so once he's got his power back under control, he'll be absolutely fine. Up in this direction, we see this merry band of Harbingers runs into a larger band of Harbingers, not good for their health. Some anti-air now being thrown into the mix by Natron, so he's aware he doesn't own the skies, though he has got a sizable clump of ASFs there now, thanks to his air grid that has come up. Probably more than what... No, Insidious Noob still has more for the moment, but it's going to take a while for him to actually get back into the swing of things and get into a position where his air will be alright. Okay, just about got a first T3 PG back up, and it's going to help him. How much is that going to help him? Not much. He needs like another 3 other things. Just about got a second one done over here. Kind of surprised he tried to build 2 at once, but I guess he needs it. He needs to do something. So there we go. You can see his mass is actually better when he has power than Natron's. But even as it is, 350 mass, there we go, he's fine on power, 350 mass income, so his eco is actually a lot better than Natron's. Even with all that wanton destruction at the back of his base, he just needed to get that power online, and he needs to get that power working a lot faster. There's a lot coming on the ground, so he might have the eco, but right now Natron has the units. He's got the ASF clump over here, which is probably similar to Insidious's clump, and he's got reinforcements coming all the time. He's got a large quantity of units on the ground. These are Harbingers. Not a lot to stop them, it has to be said. Very not a lot to stop them. And he does have anti-air in the mix. Here we go, got a, well, just one Redeemer. I thought he had more than that. Looks like they retreated. They're back here. They got caught by something. Oh no, they're rocked up front. So even if he comes in with the gunships I saw that he had somewhere, I've lost them. Maybe he's used them. Maybe they all died. But he's now under... Oh, they're up there. They're up there and they're about to get caught by this air wing coming in from Natron. Yeah. Snoozing gunships. Snoozing gunships, active ASFs, and goodbye gunships. 3 kills basically. Massive air swarm coming over. Those guys are out. Not even using his ASFs right now is Insidious. They are just sitting there in a group. Now they scramble. Scramble a bit late, and this is a dangerous air game for Insidious to try and get into. So he will struggle to produce anything. It looks like he's still on power again because none of these guys have shields, and he needs those shields to be competitive in a fight. Thankfully shields blink on, but then they blink off again. On and off, and off is a bad time, especially because he had the shield support back here from mobile shields. Now the stall is real, my friends, and that is a terrible time to stall when you're getting pushed by a large number of harbingers. You're going to lose a bunch of these guys just because they don't have the extra health. You have a look. They not good at all. The fight is on. The T3 HQs just behind us, so he has to hold this line. He can't continue to fall back. Some gunships do come in here from Natron as well. And this is when Insidious sends in his ASFs, but because they're focusing on the gunships, they are free kills for the air belonging to Natron. Those ASFs are going to sweep the skies, and despite there being a whole bunch of T2 PD, they're not going to last very much longer. These harbingers are in, they're doing their damage, and very shortly we're going to see this HQ start get primary. There it goes, in come the shots, down to yellow very, very quickly. That is Dunzo. And this is the end of the T3 HQ for Insidious, so he now has no T3 production on the ground. There's still a sizable quantity of harbingers here, and they are focusing even more. These factories just want to kill off all its production, so even if he rebuilt a T3 HQ, he won't be able to do anything else. Which I take it back, he did have a T3 HQ back here, yes he does, so that's why those were able to keep on building, but they have been removed from the equation. Harbingers just taken away 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 factories worth of build power. And another drop back here, so these harbingers behind have turned up once again, but this time there's no point defense on the ground to slow them down, and they're going straight in for the T3 power again. Because why wouldn't you? The T3 power is there, and is there a reclaiming order on that from the engineers to stop it exploding? No, there is not. I think they're trying to build. That was the wrong choice. If Insidious had been reclaiming that PG when it went up, it wouldn't have exploded like that. It wouldn't have taken out this one. It wouldn't have done all that extra damage that happened over there. And that is Insidious Noob dropped again into power. Look, no, he's still okay. Still has power. Still has a slight advantage on the Mason gun, but again he has units pushing on in towards his base. His navy's holding out over here for now, so he doesn't need to worry about that factor, but this is a problem. Harbingers are rocking in towards this base over here, and he's going to need to get something on the ground to slow those off. I mean, the gunships are trying to do their thing, but they're not doing enough. It's taking a long time to kill the Harbies. Long time indeed. The shots are coming in. The Harbingers do take some damage, but just simply not enough, and there's no point defense. Trying to rebuild his PGN. Is he out of power again? No, he's looking okay on the power. But now they are right into his base, and we think we're going to see some more destruction going on here. ASFs come sweeping in from Natron. They clean up the Spectres that are there. The ASFs from Insidious are coming in to assist. A couple of Spectres left, but this is the grid down again, and this PGN here is the final one on this side. Up go all those factories, up goes the production, down go the engineers, down go his power, and Harbingers just simply ain't going to stop. There's nothing to slow them down whatsoever. All his power production is now sitting up here on this single T3 PGM, which has 200 health. It's like a sneeze away from death, and that is not great. And now Insidious falls behind on the eco side of everything. This is going to let Natron catch up and overtake, because Natron's base is perfectly fine. He's never rebuilt over the side, never even bothered. The Navy sitting off the coast is just there to destroy anything that tries to get there. So Natron didn't bother trying to do all that. He just controlled this side of the map, and it has now worked for him. I'm just charging up here, and that's going to be these mixes under threat. And they can actually just keep on carrying on this direction. Looks like trying to get some more ACFs up. Insidious doesn't have the power for it. Needs to get some more T3 PGs because he just does not have the eco to have that as a sustainable metric. And now he's losing mass. Further and further dropping behind. And there we go. As was Insidious popping out the control K. He knows it's over, as pros often do. They figure out the game's over well before it actually ends. Insidious gives up.